deck, I think if your deck needs main deck Quarry to beat sockets, your deck's probably not playable. That seems fine. Not exciting, but fine. Cannibalize is an excellent draw. I can guarantee our 4/3 source here. Let's see. Ark's been playing a Sapphire Diamond deck lately that's like kind of this mid-rangey Angels deck. Are Arcing Rust that much? Seriously? That can't be real. So one of the things that's important about this deck is that, so while the things that get chosen for your verdicts are kind of random, you have control over which ones are coming up based on the board state, because Hex is smart and doesn't choose verdict, give you verdict options that won't make an impact. You can have some control over which verdict choices your opponent's presented with based on the timing of when you activate your champion power and your other things that do verdicts. It appears my opponent chose to keep a very bad hand. Now you will be judged by Zeddek. That being said, I'm not gonna hit this willy-nilly. Wait. My deck does give my opponent plenty of time to draw out of things like this. Keeping bad hands. Yeah, actually, I was going to comment the fact that that candle was there actually is a good example of like using my verdict kind of poorly. It's very possible I should have activated my champion power first before playing Judgment. Mommy's up. All right, so I'm gonna play this. I was gonna From the Ashes as Bird. Yeah, I'm gonna From the Ashes as Bird. Start giving on the Browntown beatdown. Marty, just pay it forward. If a bunch of people send you Arcing Rust, just like go list all the extras on the auction house for like 4 plat or whatever the least is. Be kind, rewind. I'm gonna attack with this Dorko. You're rune binding my bird. Deal. Little does my opponent know, they've played right into my trap card here. Oh. Oh. Oh, we're Clash of Stealing, sure. You've brutalized that adjudicator. It is no longer there. Man, at some point my opponent's gonna play a troop and it's gonna be really fucking dead. No, Dad's working. If you want to go up, Mom's upstairs. Mom's upstairs, dude. Go hang out with her. Mommy. Yeah, Mom's upstairs. Dad. In 19 more turns, opponent, this Twilight Eclipse is gonna finish giving you the business. Hi. Hope on the horizon. What a meme card. Get out of here. Have some judgment. Ooh, a daybreak. Now my Twilight Eclipse will be better. Ooh, a daybreak. Who's excited for this daybreak, chat? I am excited for this daybreak. Are we all excited for this daybreak, chat? Why aren't you excited for this daybreak, chat? Goodbye, Phantom, my old friend. In just 9 short turns, opponent, you shall be bodied. How about a Herofall your guy? Oh, look, you had another one in your hand. Damn shame. Ooh, Twilight Justice. So now I choose the outcome of the verdicts. You discard a random card. Now we'll verdict. And this is the other thing. You discard a random card. Oh, look at that. You don't have any cards left, opponent. Yeah. You've been judged guilty by Judge Control. All right. So what are we doing? Winter's Grasp is pretty bad. Massacre seems pretty bad. Sunlit Sentence is probably pretty bad. From the Ashes is probably decent. Journey, Demented, Withering Gaze. I think we need the Herofalls, right? We need the Herofalls to kill their things. I probably don't actually need Twilight Eclipse if I'm bringing in Journey into Nightmare. Probably this. Yeah, this seems fine. This hand's great. Demented Whispers in the opener. We get to guarantee our 3rd resource. Hopefully get Cruel Sentences and Zeddek's Judgments here. Hey. What are your thoughts on Cock versus Whisper Observers? I think if you can dedicate 4 slots, Whispers is much better. All of my blood decks have Demented Whispers in them. I think the burying them out plan is a very real plan. In most of the matchups, you want Demented Whispers. I think a good way to judge, like, the Cockatrice Demented Whispers is if you don't think the mill from Demented Whispers will be relevant in a given matchup, that means you don't want Whispers in that matchup. I have automod set on, like, very lightly. Maybe? I'm not sure. I need to check, actually. Someone remind me in Discord after my stream to check that. Yeah, Forgotten Glory. You have to actually play the game a little bit to... You have to play the game a little bit to unlock the auction house. You can also just buy cards directly from Primal. There's no limit to the mail system, but they had a lot of people using stolen credit cards, so they had to implement some stuff like that to make sure your account actually is legitimate before you start doing stuff and things. So I hit this shard for Zeddek's Judgment here, but I actually don't want to just run Zeddek's Judgment into their whatever it's called here, especially when I have this Cruel Sentence that's a quick action. I'd rather give them a card. My hand's pretty good. And now the question becomes, if they don't interrupt this, which I don't expect they will, do I want a Twilight Justice or Zeddek's Judgment next turn? I think I'd rather Zeddek's Judgment get countered than Twilight Justice. I assume they're just interrupting whatever we play this turn. Yep. Let me guarantee another resource. Yeah, I'll just guarantee another resource. That seems fine. Usually we want to hit 6 and 6 turns with this deck. Slow grind begin here. I'm expecting this to get interrupted too here. Wow, really? Okay. Happy New Year, Zintoth. You know what? I think I should have done this before I played my resource in case I had a slow shard here. Yep. That sucks. Yep. I definitely punted that. I'll probably see it first to the host here. Yeah. Yeah, I should have. Now I can't Twilight Justice and do this. Alright, well that's just happening. Get all of those out of their deck. Hit this. Assume we're about to see a bunch of angels flood the board. So first to the host says all of the constants and troops in their hand get deployed, summon a 4/4 flyer. We're just gonna see a bunch of 4/4 flyers come down here basically. I feel like this might be a counterspell. It feels like they have an interrupt of some sort here. Alright, didn't lose my From the Ashes, that's good. And probably just jamming From the Ashes next turn. Definitely jamming From the Ashes next turn. Oh, I guess they're just gonna bounce those, right? I should have jumped here too, right? If I was... I guess this lets me From the Ashes and take this. Okay. They get their Adjudicator, which gives me an Angel and some cards. Journey to Nightmare is pretty good. Maybe I just want all my From the Ashes in this matchup. I boarded in 3, right? Yeah, I only have 3 right now. Demented Whispers are a way we can definitely win this game. Kind of annoying. Guess I'll put a resource on top of my deck here so I can replay that next turn. Like, they flip these Dawn Chargers back up into their hand, and then, like, don't play them back out. Another Demented Whispers off the top of our deck can empty their hand out. Okay, Dream Call's a good way to fight that. They're gonna get to generate some extra cards for their hand. Yeah, I think I've boarded incorrectly, and there should definitely be 4 copies of From the Ashes in my deck right now. Maybe over the Cannibalize or the Zeddek's Judgment. Probably over the Zeddek's Judgment. Cannibalize is pretty good at... what's the word I'm searching for? It's pretty good at... pretty good at playing around their interrupts. Horrible. What you got over there? What you got? What you got? What you got? Purify. That must have been randomly generated, right? Did they? No, that generated a 1. Anything that would have generated 2? Oh, it was from the it's from the, what's it called? The I'm blanking on the name. The Dream Call. Makes sense. Yep. So they don't have any interrupts in their hand that we knew about, so... It does mean if we had a From the Ashes here, we're mostly in the clear. Gonna be dead next turn, so here's hoping. Yep. The classic dead to the sweeper, go all in so you're dead or more dead to the sweeper. Did they hit the interrupt? I guess they could have hit the interrupt. They drew one card. So there's that. I block 1, 2, 3, kill that, take exact. Okay, well, if they don't have an interrupt, they don't have an interrupt or removal. We are not dead. Another draw step. Great. Yeah, it's only 12, 13, and we're at 14. Good on you, Daybreak. Good on you. What a tilt. Good beat. All right, so boarded incorrectly. If I have the 4th from the Ashes in my deck, we might have been able to pull up out of that one. No, that's not a trigger that targets, so you can't respond. But what would being able to react to it do? How is being able to react to it profitable for us? Oh, no, you can't. That is true. No, you can't respond to those. They don't target, so you can't. Seen a trap. It might be a trap. I think boarding incorrectly definitely cost us that game. If we'd just seen another from the Ashes, we'd have killed them. And this, like, what our opponent's playing is like one of the dangers of playing a control deck in any TCG format, right? Like the deck our opponent's playing is like an off meta deck. It's not something that like we have great tools for fighting. It's nothing we're super prepared to reserve against necessarily. Just go ahead and snap this Withering Gaze here. Maybe get this Twilight Justice to resolve next turn. Probably not. The opponent seems like they have a lot of interrupts post board. They have verdicts and confounding ires, yeah, and weaves. So. You have a Daybreak, bud. Probably get a Daybreak or Nightfall of our own here. Wow, I got to draw a card. Okay, that was great. Yeah, whatever. We gotta get through these interrupts at some point anyways. They blow them on these, and these from the Ashes are more likely to resolve. It does kind of suck giving them a Fate Weave there, since they had Weave into nothing as their interrupt. It makes this Judgment marginally worse. They have troops they don't mind dying. This kind of makes me wish I would have sequenced these in the other order, would have played this last turn and played the Twilight Justice this turn, since I kind of wanted the Twilight Justice to resolve more. It's just awkward because this card is better if Twilight Justice is in play. So it's like, well, I want the Justice to resolve more, but I want to play this other card so it'll be higher impact after the Justice is already out. It's kind of a fine line. Guide me the way, show me the way. Demented Whispers, beauty-do-do-do. This card's actually not very good at this current point in the game, because my opponent has... That's why Arcanovix is actually very good against Demented Whispers and Cockatrice, because they just like create these extra 1-cost actions that my opponent doesn't really care about discarding. You have a Nightfall, I have a Daybreak, so these two just negate each other. This one might get interrupted since it takes 2 cards away from them. Yep. And again, like, we only have 4 Withering Gaze in our deck, so like we just kind of have to like play through these counters, especially because like a lot of our cards like from the Ashes are like kind of expensive and clunky. Our opponent's going to have a better chance of playing a card and holding an interrupt up, so just playing through them as opposed to like trying to sequence around them is just something we're not going to have the option to do. This cycles itself, so might as well play it and get some verdict value. Yep. We are now successfully negating each other on the verdict front. Ooh, I'm up a card. Okay, this one resolved. This might mean they're out of interrupts in their hand, which would be great for us. Yeah, it is, Cone. If you check out this, I actually have an article here called How to Hex. It kind of explains some of the important differences between Hex and Magic. And kind of lets you know, like, these are the small differences. The bases of the games are pretty similar, but Hex is able to kind of leverage the digital design space in a lot of neat ways that Magic just can't. And the digital client is just, it's so great to use. If they're actually out of interrupts here, if we hit another Demented Whispers here, we'll just empty their hand out, which would be absolutely insane. Herofall this. Yeah, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I see you have the little sub icon there next to your name too. If you pop on into the sub Discord, there's always people that are willing to help there if you have questions or comments. Sometimes people have extra commons and uncommons to give too, because X is a trading card game unlike a lot of the digital ones, so we can actually give you extra cards. People that draft usually have extra commons and uncommons. And Hex's current standard format is excellent. If you're someone that enjoys Magic standard format when it's good, it hasn't been good for a while, but like this current Hex format is quite excellent. Well, this will be pretty good for us. We're gonna get to From the Ashes, this Adjudicator. I'm gonna go ahead and play this out, put a non-resource on top of my deck. We'll take this Adjudicator, which will give us an Angel and let us draw some cards. We'll Demented Whispers and take the last 3 cards out of their hand. Nice deck. Nice deck. And we'll bury them out too. You weren't going to use those cards, were you, opponent? Those weren't important for you to win the game, were they? What does Nightfall do? Nightfall's a constant that says the start of your turn, it just nickels your opponent for 1 point of damage. So Nightfalls and the Daybreaks are things that are generated by the verdict mechanic. So basically they're the like how this deck wins eventually. We kill them with these little Nightfalls and nickel them out, or we take their troops away. From the Ashes is a really powerful sweeper. It destroys every troop in play, and then we take one of the troops out of their discard pile and put it into play under our control. And again, this is what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about, you know, just like pushing through, right? Like eventually my opponent ran out of interrupts, and then like our powerful cards just started resolving, which is what we're interested in having happen, right? You post the list that has all the current standard decks. Yep. These are a bunch of the top tier decks in the current standard format. Also, if you want to see real-time data, if you're a data junkie like me, hexpvptools.net. Every match of competitive Hex is logged. So every match that's played in every tournament, as soon as this ladder match finishes, it's going to go up on a website, and you're going to be able to go to a website and look at my deck and look at my opponent's deck and see card for card what we were both playing. Opponent said mill deck in disguise, and basically we are, right? Like, Demented Whispers is so powerful because in addition to being a disruptive element for taking cards out of our opponent's hand, it's also a secondary win condition in just burying our opponent out of the game. You think the Papa Good Constance is worse than the Verdict deck? I think so. I don't know. They're kind of different. You know what? Actually, what I need to do is I need to update the Papa Good Constance. I think the Papa Good Constance is worse than the aggressive Verdict deck. Oh no, our opponent's playing an actual mill deck. which is probably a terrible matchup for us because our deck just like sits around and doesn't do anything. Yeah, in fact, I'm just gonna concede the match. I don't want to play against the mill deck. And this is the great part. The ladder's free. I don't care. We'll give up a couple stars. And this is, again, your control deck can't beat everything. This control deck is built to beat aggressive decks and sockets decks. We're just move on with our day. Try and find one more reasonable matchup that has some back and forth play to it here. Why are you sulking? Did mom yell at you? Were you bad? You were bad, so you ran downstairs to dad? And if Karma's a Bizwitch, I'm sure we're going to queue right into the mill deck again, and then we'll go play something else. But I think this deck is like a reasonable choice for like the bash, because like if you look at the bash results, the mill decks just have like a dumpster fire win rate. Like consistently week in and week out, there's like 3 to 4 people that play the mill decks, and like they have like 35, 40, 45% win rates at best. And the aggressive decks that this control deck is built to beat are generally very popular in the bash, right? Something Fred said he's going to put together on there. They have a ladder metagame snapshot on PvP tools. He's going to put together a bash metagame snapshot at some point. That sounds fine. Spot removal, some Zeddek Judgment for verdicts and card advantage, Massacre. I'm going to go ahead and use this ice. Again, we are a control deck, so we usually want to make our first 5 to 6 resource drops every game, so I'm just going to use that Fate Weave to guarantee our 4th resource drop. Peace, Silver. Yeah, we'll be going probably like another 2 hours or so. Go ahead and play this. It's possible I want to play the ice here, but I think there's a good chance they're going to play a troop I want a Winter's Grasp next turn. Opponent playing Takahiro. For 3 charges, they get to sacrifice a troop to draw a card and gain 3 health. I haven't played the aggro verdict deck at all, actually. Shredder, who is TPZ on in client, he's one of my teammates. He's been testing it. He said he's liked it a lot on the ladder matches that he's played. Looking at it on paper, it really looks a lot like the Aristocrats deck. Like when all of its synergies are firing on all cylinders, it's great. But like if its synergies aren't coming together, it's just kind of doing an underpowered thing. Again, I'm holding my verdict power on my champion. I don't hold the Zeddek's judgments too liberally because like they cost 3 resources, so I do want to just use my resources efficiently. But holding the champion power is generally worthwhile, so you have better things you can do with it. Dread Driver. This gives them Dreadlings every turn. All right, I'm going to start by casting this Zeddek's judgment that's free since we redrew it. Good, and grasp the Storko. I'm gonna stack a non-resource on top of my deck at this point. I kind of like a Twilight Justice. And like, we're guaranteed our first 5 here, which is plenty. The only thing we have that costs more than 5 is from the Ashes. Yeah, I haven't played the Rock format at all. It's not really... I'm really mostly just interested in playing the formats that we can play the larger tournaments for, so Immortal and Standard. Are you licking your hand? You're gross. Kids are gross. Don't put your hand on me, gross toddler. 3-year-olds are gross. Says the Abomination Gem. Okay, that's pretty sweet. So they're gonna create Dreadlings that then leave behind things. Alright, I think I'm gonna go ahead and void this Acolyte of Shoku. Are we aggroing them out with these phantoms? Is that like what's happening right now? I think we're aggroing them out with these phantoms, which is kind of funny. Yup, alright, they just keep making our troops bigger. Alright, 5, hit you with the 5 ball. Alright, not really sure what our opponent's doing. Withering Gaze probably isn't very good. They seem more aggressive. Our deck's pretty well set up against aggressive decks. I'm just sporting these from the ashes. Maybe this Stalking Quarry is fine because it kills their what's it called? Zora's Rectory? Might have other socketed things. Let's just do that. You need to get off me, dude. Your breath stinks. I can hear look in your hand. You're gross. I love you, tiny gross human. Yeah, the rock tournaments happen. There's four rock tournaments per week. Yeah, there isn't currently an on-demand rock queue. I'm just not interested in playing Immortal tracks as part of it. Like, it's not about finding matches. Like, I'm certain I could, like, talk someone on my team or people in Discord into, like, playing matches. Like, I just don't think the current Immortal format is very interesting or healthy. I think Hideous Conversion is pretty rancid. I think the Spell Shield gem isn't very interesting. There also aren't prizes for playing it, so like if I'm gonna spend time streaming, like part of the just producing content obviously, but like I'd also just like to, like, you know, earn some prizes while we play. I don't think that's like, you know, a bad thing. Kill the Vampire Prince here that they permafrosted into play. Corpse Jack. Corpse Mulch. Alright, well. Let's Cruel Sentence and hope this cantrip hits a shard here. Ding, ding, ding. Sweet. So this shard will hopefully allow this Cannibalize propel us into a 3rd shard, which is excellent for us. If we just hit a 4th shard non-slow natural next turn, we can play Twilight Justice. If I got a decent deck for Hex, how quickly and effectively can I climb the ladder? Christy went from gold 5 to Cosmic in a day, in yesterday. Like, she hadn't been playing most of the season and she wanted the sleeves, so like she got the sleeves in a day. Honestly, I don't even know if we need an on-demand queue for the Immortal. I think, or a ladder. I think Immortal is a great chance to reintroduce constructed gauntlets back into the game to allow constructed players to kind of grind value on demand. I think when we had, I don't think we can have a standard gauntlet exist alongside the standard ladder, but I think with a different format, there's a chance to bring those gauntlets back into the game. Gross. And we really sad when I play the second Twilight Justice. The second Twilight Justice, generally not as good, but then they kill the first one and you're like, haha! Haha! What are constructed gauntlets? They're basically like League's pimped up monk. You pay an entry fee, you play a set amount of matches. There's something Hex used to have before the ladder existed, way back when I first started playing, but they didn't, believe it or not, they didn't rake the players as much as Magic Online does. So like back in the day, the equivalent of leagues, the constructed gauntlets, they cost $5 or a 500 plat entry fee, and you got a booster pack for every win you got in the gauntlet, up to 5 wins. And if you got all 5 wins, you got a 6th bonus booster pack, and you were out of the gauntlet when you took 3 losses. So it was a great system because it didn't penalize you if you got a little bit unlucky. Like going 5-1, 5-2, and 5-0 were all the same prizes. And it was also great because if you went 3-3, you got 3 booster packs for 500 plat, which is effectively, you know, 3 booster packs for 500 plat. That's cheaper than buying 3 packs. So like you were breaking even going 3-3, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, HC is hideous conversion, and hideous conversion is it's a constant that costs 2 that says sacrifice a troop, gain a temporary resource. That just allows for really obnoxious things to happen. Zeddek's Judgment is real good when you've got Twilight Justice out. Discard a card. So because Twilight Justice is out, I get to pick what happens with these verdicts. So basically, instead of my opponent choosing the least bad one, I get to choose the worst one for them every time. Yeah, it's obnoxiously strong, and it slots into a lot of... There's like 3 or 4 combos that go like varying degrees of infinite with that constant in Immortal. And some of them combo as early as turn like 2 and 3. It's very degenerate. Immortal right now, until they update the ban list, is a lot like Magic's modern format. Super degenerate. Which, if you know my feelings about modern, you know that I'm not a big fan of the degeneracy. Yeah, and I mean like the constructed gauntlet pricing that I just talked about, right? Like $5, you break even going 50%. And if you go 2-3, like what? That's a 40% win rate. You're only technically behind like $1.50 compared to just buying the packs outright. All right, sweet. Playing against Candles too. Yeah, seems pretty good. I'm gonna Fate Weave a non-shard to the top of my deck to start, I think. Yeah, Hex is a full buy, sell, trade, secondary market. So actually, Hex Primal there, scrolling on the banner in my corner, they're a shop. They're like Star City Games or MTGO traders for Hex. You just fill a shopping cart and hit checkout. You can sell your cards directly to other players. You can buy list them to the stores. Wow, that's gross. So I'm going to hold this Zeddek's Judgment until after I play Twilight Justice here. Because again, Zeddek's Judgments, my opponent's not applying a lot of pressure to me. Zeddek's Judgment's a lot more powerful when I get to pick the outcomes of both the verdicts on it. Oh, that's true, Owens. Yeah, the Primal Pack chances, you get like 2% chance of those proccing, just like make crazy value. For those that aren't familiar, Primal Packs are random packs that have a chance to get generated every time you... discard a random card, please. Every time you you generate a pack in Hex. And basically what they do is they're 13 rares and 2 legendaries, so it's worth a ton of value, and usually they sell for somewhere between $10 and $15 worth of in-game currency on the auction house. It's gonna be Consult the Talons here. Yep, it's tough to grind through these draw 3s. We'll see. Zeddek's Judgment and Twilight Justice, they're gonna do their darndest. Discard a random card. Kill all your dorks. I draw a card. This out. I'm gonna go to attack with this phantom. And this is a matchup that's kind of scary until we get those Demented Whispers out of our reserves, because my opponent's deck has a lot of inevitability. My opponent's deck's playing, looks like they're playing the Turbo Ascension deck. So if they get to their Psychic Ascension before we get to snowball too much here, we're going to be in, I'm going to Cruel Sentence in response to this. Just so when we hit this discard a random card, it gets, look at that, it got their Psychic Ascension out of their hand before they get to add 2 new cards here. Taking the Psychic Ascension off them is really good. If they can't find their other Psychic Ascension for a while, we can probably grind them out of this game. We need to get some like Nightfalls into play, or hit our Twilight Eclipse would be ideal. We could find that. And a couple of cantrips here, hopefully find some of those. The only card I've seen from those spoilers is the dinosaur that that has the what's it called clause on it, the Quasly Pride Mage Dino. And that card seems sweet. That might be modern playable, just like a 3/4 that naturalizes is pretty good. Yep, I'm just gonna keep attacking their hand here. Cannibalize is pretty good. We got a couple of Zeddek's Judgments in our deck. So the Zeddek's Judgment card, I don't think I talked about this or zoomed in on it. In addition to the verdicting twice, it also, what's what I'm searching for? It puts itself back into our deck. So that way we're able to redraw it later, and it makes itself cost 0, which is kind of sweet. Go ahead and Hero's Downfall this bird. I mean, just like, you probably can't, none of the things in this set are probably going to be comparable to energy. Like, if they don't ban the energy cards, you just can't play new things in Magic Standard format. It's just like the TLDR of it. Like, they need to get rid of the Tune with Aether or Rogue Refiner, ideally both. Just like let the new cards actually breathe and be interesting. We technically have them on a 6-turn clock here with these Phantoms of this Nightfall. Roll Sentence here, see what we get. It's pretty good. You get a Daybreak, just like, I don't really care about this guy. Like, getting a Daybreak's very similar to getting rid of this card. Also, I might just, like, Sunlit Sentence and kill this one dork next turn. Just so I could, like... Wind Swim, sure, that must have been a randomly generated one. I guess they could be playing that card, actually. So Sunlit Sentence destroys all attacking troops, but then lets me Verdict twice, so I think that's probably worthwhile while I have Twilight Justice out, just to, like... poop on this, especially since I have Massacre to clean up if they go wide with something else. Sure. They're dead in 5 currently. This is unfortunate. Okay, well, I'm gonna keep Twilight Justice. The classic Clash of Steel in my go wide deck. Yep. I think I'm just going to play this as a double verdict here. Make them discard or us draw some cards. Yep. Alright, well. They discarded, we drew. Could have been worse. Massacre the board. And I'm going to Casualty of War this, and the reason why I'm Casualty of Warring this is I'm going to Verdict with my Champion Power here, and I don't want there to be troops in play when I hit my Verdict with my Champion Power, because I don't want, like, killing troops to be options that come up. Because, again, you can kind of control which options you're getting with the Verdicts by, like, controlling, like, what's on the board when you're Verdicting. Alright, 15 turn clock. Let's go, Nightfall. We really need to hit one of our Eclipses or Twilight Judgment here, but I guess, like, as long as they're not finding their other Psychic Ascension, like, it probably doesn't matter how long we dirtle here. Dirtle, 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 doo 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 doo. 13 more turns, opponent. 13 more turns, and this Nightfall will run you out of the game. "12 more turns, opponent. This Nightfall has your number." "11 more turns, opponent. This Nightfall is going to do you in. Maybe I should just made another Nightfall there. The cards in our deck are so awkward at this point. Our spot removal is very bad in this matchup, because they mostly go wide. Okay, they found Psychic Ascension, which means every time they play an action now, they're going to generate troops. So we'll see if these Massacres can hold them off for, you know, 11 turns, 10 turns. All right, the next Judgment's a good one. Yep, discard a card. Discard a card. We might be in a position to actually do it. We had like a Twilight Eclipse, we're probably a favorite. Only 29 cards in our deck. Do I want to random out of mine, or I don't want to discard out of them? I think I want to discard out of them. Although a lot of their cards might just be bad. Yeah, so like a bunch of those cards just didn't do anything. Alright. Okay. Big bucks, no Clash of Steel. No Clash of Steel! Don't do it! Have a heart, opponent! Have a heart! Don't clash me! Don't clash me! Don't do it! No, it's him to Torak. They discards at random. It's a random discard, baby. Oh, baby! Are they gonna be judged guilty by judge control? Will you be found guilty and sentenced to death, opponent? You are dead in but 2 more turns, opponent. If they don't have a clash this turn and we get them to 3, these Massacres and the spot removal should really keep us in the game. Come on. Come on. Come on. Daddy needs these Nightfalls. Rune Flexion. Put target action in your crypt into your hand. It gets... No! They're targeting Clash, aren't they? What a tilt. Generated a random that got us. That's frustrating. I think I'm keeping a Nightfall. I think I just, like, need to kill them with these. God, and this berry to Cannibalize off the top of our deck. Man, I thought we were actually gonna do it, too. And good old RNGesus got us. Just gonna Winter's Grasp this dork so it stops fucking burying us. Alright, they're dead in 6. It's unfortunate we don't get to pick anymore. Yep. Oh, this lets them sacrifice that. That's fine. Okay, alrighty. So you're saying there's a chance. Saying there's a chance, opponent. So you're saying there's a chance. The next Pro Tour is modern. Here's my hot take for a minute. They brought back the modern Pro Tour because they knew Standard was going to continue to be bad and they don't intend to ban anything. That's my hot take for a quick minute. They don't intend to ban energy. They know standard's going to continue to be terrible, so this is why we waited on this scroll sentence. Hopefully we draw a shard here. Gosh, we're lucky. This puts them to 1. This puts them to 1. We have 2 lethal constants. No, I don't try to qualify for WotC events. Just like way too much work for way too little reward. We're gonna do it. We're gonna beat Psychic Ascension. God, if we win game 1, we have to be such a huge favorite in this matchup. Yes, SCG turned all of their standard events into team events because they don't think WotC's gonna fix their shit. Sacrifice a constant. Yeah, I'm gonna pick this one. Pick this Daybreak right here. I don't need that one. Yeah, you gotta get rid of both of these, friendo. Opponent desperately trying to RNG their... Oh, are you kidding me? Are you... This is the rare portal? That serious? I was so excited, chat. I was so... We were gonna win the game. We were gonna win the game. Opponent just like flailing around wildly, trying to generate random things, and generates Frostlock, of all things. Frostlock. Alright, what's in their crypt? Is there a troop in here that kills them? Please tell me there's a troop in here that kills them. I guess I can get Silver Talon Adjudicator. We Hearthstone now, right? Fuck. Would like a draw to, please. Dang it, Bobby. That's interesting. Maybe? No, this was a 2-4, right? I guess I could have killed both their things. No, I don't think so. I think like they're not gonna pick sack a constant, right? Like they're always gonna have another choice. If we had Twilight Justice out, I think that's correct. But because we didn't have Twilight Justice, I feel like that's not gonna be a good option. Do we have any Twilight Justices left in our deck? Do we have 3 of them, really? We've only seen 1 Twilight Justice in 45 cards. Are there really 3 Twilight Justices in my deck right now? Is that real life? That can't be real life, right? Okay, yeah, that's true, Pimped Up Monk. If we killed everything, maybe that's correct. Oh, there's 1 voided. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so there's two justices in 14 cards. We need to get to a justice, and then we need to hit the verdicts that we want. And we need these pieces of spot removal to keep us alive until we get there. Come on, this turn. Let's have speed. Come on, Daddy needs a justice. 1 and 7. 1 and 7. Forgot we had one of those too. All right, spot check. It's Arcane Novex, right? Because Arcane Novex could generate something that could kill us. Could kill our thing. Oh, I can't take Arcane Novex. So it's just Clash of Steel then? Is it Clash of Steel? I don't actually know the answer. Alright, chat. Your move. This is what I got. This is all I have. I'm gonna get rid of this just in case there's a thing it can generate to kill us. Alright. We've worked so hard for this win, Kismet. And you've ranched us in so many ways so far. Can you please, Kismet? Please? They've been dead so many times. They've been just dead unless they RNG into it. And then they've spun the wheels, and the wheels of fate have not been kind. They've not been kind. Please, 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 please. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy. No! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Just the fucking king of RNG. Oh, God. Good Lord. For fuck's sake. This was, I agree, this was like a Dece game of Hearthstone. Just Kismet has picked her champion. Alright, we've got their Clash of Steel in our deck. And we've got, I don't know, we're gonna draw Brick and Die. Yeah, of course we're gonna draw fucking Brick and Die. Alright. Alright, for everything else, there's MasterCard. Man, normally they lube me up before they fuck me that hard. Alright. Let's get rid of these, get rid of that. These From the Ashes are fine. These are great. These are great. These are great. Maybe I don't want these Massacres. Massacre's probably like marginally better. Let's split the difference on these. 3-2. Alright, once more into the breach, my children. I think we're a favorite post board, but it's really kind of tilting to like lose to that many RNG effects. No lube, no justice stream, just going in raw. Yeah, this hand has a bunch of ice, so like this hand's really resource heavy, but like I'm guaranteed to draw 4 non-resources with it, right? Because I have 3 Fate Weaves and a Guidance. Well, like, and they had to generate the Purify. Like, the Purify is not in their deck either, so they had to generate that, and then they had to generate the correct thing off of that one. Just like, oh, good lord. Good lord. Just thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have another? It's a hard knock life. For us, it's a hard knock life. Do 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 do. Demented Whispers makes this matchup much better for us. You saw how long that game went, right? Like my opponent almost naturally decked out that game. So they're 1 in 13 to hit the kill the constant from there. It's fair. It's actually not that low. That, like, if I could have picked a draw out of our deck there, this would have been it. Let's just rail their hands here. I think I'd rather get rid of their cards than give us extras. And a consult, sweet. So it's like a 4 for whatever. Next turn. I don't know if I want to journey first. Probably want to just like Judgment, Cruel Sentence. If we keep this in play, I'm just gonna slam these two. Just like try and grind their hand out here, I think. We hit their shard too. We hit their shard and then they missed their shard drop. Well, that's pretty excellent. Would like to draw a card rather than have a Nightfall. I would like to kill your troop because your troop is valuable to you. Morning, Apprentice. Like for you to discard a random card. Or like to Demented Whispers you. You can bury their Fate Weave too. God, this has not been close, has it? Just constant killing. Now they scour a glade, sure, deal. The verdict choices are yours, opponent. I'll take my stuff. Yep, we're gonna save this one for after I Twilight Justice next turn. You've been judged guilty of bribing Kismet last game, so you're getting put in the ground this game, opponent. I'm just gonna get this journey going. Just get this going. Start drawing cards off their deck. Yeah! Get out my house! Get out my house! Much quicker than the last Slugfest. Much, much quicker. Bury you firmly in the ground. Guilty. Judged guilty by judge control. Oh god, I hate this battle board. What a tilt. Tilt me for the third game, play the crappy battle board. Opponent ended with no cards in hand, no cards in play, you know. Just good, clean living, really. I'm gonna grab a non-resource with this. Between these cantrips, like all three of these cards cantrips, so pretty likely to hit a fifth on time. Massacre is a good pickup. Go ahead and pass the turn here. I'm doing this during my opponent's ready step. That way, if it gives them the option to like kill their things, it's not good for them. Okay, that's decent for us. Yeah, Demented Whispers is very good. In the matches where Demented Whispers is playable, it's almost always the best card in your deck. It's just like what it comes down to, basically. Wouldn't be surprised if we get interrupted here. Wow, do they just like not have interrupts in their deck? They like brought in all these Clash of Steels and crap, and just like we keep attacking their hand, and they're just like don't have anything to stop us. Hey, higher than Snoop. I'm glad the YouTube's been good to you. The fact that Demented Whispers screws with their ice shards too is so good. Like twice now, we've just like buried things off the top, and they're just like, all right, then they just like don't play a shard, and it's like, well, that's great. I'm just gonna Judgment here. I could Massacre, but like massacring these two things isn't particularly appealing. That's great. All right, let's start slugging through here. If they offer a trade candle for Phantom, just like snapping it off, their candles mobilize things for them, so that's much better than ours are. That was pretty good. Okay. I probably want to Massacre this board. Just like keep their troops in check. Because like now they're into Consult the Talon's range. I think oh god, that's too good to pass up. This means I get a free Zeddek's Judgment this turn. For fuck's sake. That's a beating. All right. So this was free because I got it with a Cosmic Calling earlier. That's really unfortunate. I should have Fate Weaved a non-resource there, right? I guess we'd have just drawn the shard next turn. That's unfortunate. I wonder if they would have countered the Massacre there. Probably, so maybe I should have led on that. Yeah, I think I should have led on the Massacre. I don't know. I'm playing around free verdict is like not something I'm really in the market to do. Massacre is good cleanup down the line too. They buried one Scouring Light. I wonder how many they have in their board. Probably a few. This matchup seems like it's not very good for them post reserves. Shouldn't be too surprised they have a few ways to like hedge it. Brittle. I'll just jam this. Probably have 4 verdicts post boards. There's probably another one in their hand. I'll start on guidance and see what I get. It gives me a little bit more information to make my decision with. See, this is perfect. So now I get to go ahead and spot check, see what's up. Retreat the Silver Talon Adjudicator, sure. Clash of Steel, Cosmic Calling, double Diamonds favor. Okay. Picture this. I'm surprised they didn't Cosmic Calling in response. Alright, so they're at 6 cards. Can I get down to less cards in my hand? If I was playing the Massacre? Yeah, that's probably fine. So they're gonna go up to 7 cards, down to 6, down to 5, so I can go down to 5, down to 4 cards. I think I like doing that. It's like make their Silver Talon Adjudicator a bit worse here. That way they don't have a good play with it next turn. So what's the non-budget Candle deck look like? You can check my YouTube archives. There's some videos on there. Basically, the big upgrades are 4 Scions and... I hate you light the vote is. Good beat. 4 Scions and 4... 4... What's it called? 4 Scions and 4... Wax Sacraments. Oh, this thing has Mobilize. Okay, that makes sense. I could have played around that. I mean, like, that's just how control decks roll, right? Like, if your things don't line up well. Do they have a way to take this journey off the table? If they don't, we're going to be in a great spot. Oh, and they have Diamond's favor. Oh, I knew about this, right? I knew this was a potential line for them. I knew they had Clash plus favor. That's fine, I think. That's fine. So they have another Clash and now a 1-cost card in their hand that I know about. Yeah, so we knew that was coming, but I think I still choose to stick it there even if I know that's coming. Twilight Justice is a nut straw. Discard a random card, thanks. Judgment you. Okay. Discard a random card. I'd rather have a Phantom than them lose a thing. This. And this is why we've been saving my champion power, right? You have to go ahead and just, like, take all the remaining cards out of my opponent's hand here. And now, like, again, like, they have a couple things in play, but, like... I've got this Twilight Justice. I've got 2 champion powers almost in the bank. I've got another Cruel... I got a Cruel Sentence here. We're gonna hopefully put them in the ground if they don't draw exceptionally well from here. Alright, it's a random. No Dream Call. Big Bucks, no Dream Call. Straight here. Start with Cannibalize, see what we get. Draw 2, lose 2. Ooh, Cosmic Calling. Bird. Sparing 6. It's not terrible. Okay, that like kind of sucks. My verdicts are much worse without the justice in play. Your mom's upstairs, bud. Is there's an adjudicator in their bin, right? Or did it get voided? No, they turned it into something else, right? Yeah, it might just be time to sweep. These cards are very good. Can I wait one more turn? Yeah, I'm gonna wait one more turn. I'm gonna go ahead and Zeddek's Judgment, see what happens. I guess I could have run the Ashes and Zeddek's Judgmented, huh? I got a Phantom back, that sucks. We're not playing this back out because I don't want to get it back again later with another verdict. We'll draw a card. Draw a card. Should have Fate Well of a non-resource at the top of my deck there, so that was a mistake. Especially since I have another Ice Fate, we have another non-resource next turn. They're down to 24 cards in their deck, so two Demented Whispers is going to be lethal. Yeah, this deck grinds like a motherfucker. Yes, yes it is. You buried one of their PAs, that's pretty good for us. They can do a PA and squeak this game out still, potentially. Demented Whispers, this buries their Fate Weave. Next Demented Whispers is lethal, because it'll bury... maybe not quite lethal, I think it buries 12 cards the next one. We bury the other PA. No, there's still a PA in their deck, which is kind of scary. Nice candles. Oh, I guess there's a world where the last card in their deck is Light the Voters, right? All right, well now what's it called is lethal, right? Nice drop of wax. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Do, 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 do. We're just trying not to die. That way we can hit a Demented Whispers and in the game. Going on, Snarf. I'm going to hold this Withering Gaze. Because if my opponent has an interrupt, I want to Withering Gaze in the turn I Demented Whispers them to try and punch it through. Because like if I play it and I miss now, that gives them a chance to draw. Sweet. So like if they drew an interrupt this turn, they could have interrupted this. Sweet. So we don't know if they drew that this turn or last turn. So if their last card's not an interrupt, they lose the game. And it's not. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Do 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 do. And that was 2 post-board games we won by burying them outright. We did lose to the Ascension. Holy crap. If you walked away from the game 1 and didn't see the end of it, you need to go back and watch it on YouTube, because like it was just like the most ridiculous RNG storm. Like my opponent played the Hearthstone game perfectly to win game 1. It was just nutso, just like random generation into different random generation into third random generation that hosed us, just like ridiculous 3 or 4 times over. All right, we've been playing the control deck for an hour.